Good morning, everyone. We are back here with another Revolution Round Town, and we are with the lovely Kimberly Griggs here of Notting Hill, and we're going to chat a little bit about design and holidays and kind of a little bit of everything, right?
Yes. By the way, I love that name, Revolution Around Town. That's
thank
cute.
you. Yeah,
That's
just
really
try
cute.
to, because that's what it embodies, is just kind of,
Yeah.
we love to get around and focus on other businesses and restaurants and nonprofits and kind of a little events, like anything that's going on around town, we're trying to have our hand in it.
I love it.
Good.
I love it.
So what is going on with you? You can kind of tell a little bit. We're in a different location.
Yes, we are. So after years and years and years of a huge retail location and a huge design business, I decided that I wanted to focus more on interior design and those clients.
Yeah.
So I was a little stretched and a little pulled, and so when the lease was up in the old location, I decided to make a downsized move. And it's really been wonderful because I'm able now to focus, so I'm super excited about that. And while we have beautiful things in this smaller location, they are really dedicated to jobs I have coming up. Of course, if someone wants to come in and purchase something, well, that's fine.
Right.
But it's set up to be more of a design center. So it was a large move, and transitionally, it's been a large move in my head.
I'm sure.
But I think I think we've got it now,
Yeah.
and I feel really good about it.
Well, that's so good. I mean, there's no need to have such a huge space when you can get what you need in such a little space and focus on those little.
It's
those
true,
little things.
and I think that COVID, while COVID has been COVID,
Right.
I think that COVID for a lot of us has made us step back and actually assess and think about what makes us happy. And what makes me happy is actually creating beautiful spaces,
Right.
not necessarily buying for a retail store.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure a lot of people over the many years of you doing this, that's what you love. You love to go into a space, visualize what it is, take what they're wanting,
Sure.
and just make it come to life, as
Sure.
opposed to doing the setups here,
Well,
which this is gorgeous, but this would be
true.
something I would need to come in and see and say, okay, yeah, I want all of that in my home.
Right. Well, for example, clients can sometimes get to a certain level with their home, but they struggle with how to finish. They struggle with seeing things outside of a really sometimes three-dimensional box.
yeah.
I see things in 7 dimensions sometimes, and that's my gift. And I was so caught up and consumed with retail that I wasn't able to focus on my gift as much as I wanted to. So this is just a new day dawning.
Well, and I love that, because that's what, I mean, when COVID hit, we all had to get more creative with what we had going on, and we had to focus in on what our true talents were.
True, and I think that people staying home focused more on what it was like to be home.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, during all of that, I had created an online class.
Oh, okay.
So I teach people online how to actually decorate for themselves.
I love that.
And, not everyone wants to afford a high-end luxury design firm.
Right.
But they want a beautiful home. And my goal in life is for everyone to live in a beautiful home, no matter what your circumstances. So I created this class, and which has been super fun and really kind of exciting because I've never done that before, and I had to learn how to do this. And what I learned is that I love teaching, and I have a brain that is strange in that it has left and right components, and they're almost equal.
Okay.
So when you can break things down, then you're able to teach. And not that I didn't have to learn a lot about the process and how people learn cognitively, etc. It was really, for me, kind of rejuvenating because it was a part of the design world that I had not mastered.
Well, that's exciting. And I'm going to have to, I know I went and watched a couple of them, but I have to go back through because I'm in that process.
Right.
I mean, the finishing, kind of pulling everything together, like the rug, it seems to be like a pain to me, and cement tables.
Yes. Well, and the thing is I cover a lot of that on my own lives on Thursdays. This class, for example, though, is a set of real classes, 7 classes online. You can access it at KimberlyGriggDesign.com.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool because you can take it at your leisure,
Okay.
but you can also go back and rewatch the parts that that don't come as easily to you.
Right. Yeah, well, I've been checking that out.
It's a good thing to do during the holidays when you've got some free time.
Well, and you mentioned the holidays, so that's what, I mean, I know a lot of people have already started decorating just to kind of pull themselves out of the funk, but this weekend, I know, is the traditional weekend for everyone to start decorating.
Yes, it is.
And I've held off because I am a truist, I like Thanksgiving, and then we get back, and the traditions, and my daughter who's 7, she's like, the traditions are really what matters to me. And I was like,
how sweet.
So I don't want to change any, so we always come back and we'll do our decorating.
Well, I have to agree with you, Stephanie, because I feel like we rush through the holidays. We don't necessarily enjoy the whole process.
Right.
And I, too, have held off. I usually by now have everything kind of situated and done, but I decided this year that I was really going to be thankful for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And that I would leave that fall decor up in place until the day after. So another thing that I think people really kind of worry about is how can they decorate for Christmas in a more simplified, meaningful way?
Right.
Because it is overwhelming. It is even overwhelming for me. And years and years ago, I decorated 37 trees for a hotel over the course of one weekend.
That is
And
intense.
it was intense, but it taught me something that I've never forgotten. And it is this. I bet I put 1 million little bitty bows on those trees. So step 1 for simplification is go big.
Yeah.
So bigger ornaments are available now. Don't wear yourself out putting these little bitty ornaments all over the tree. If you will pick a color scheme, even if you have sentimental, meaningful ornaments, if you will stick with a color scheme, then that will give you the background and the bones of the tree and of your home. You can always add to it because you have a color palette. Your color palette doesn't have to include red and green. It can, but it doesn't have to. If you're a purist and traditionalist and you want red and green, well, red and green it is.
Right.
But if you want to kick it up a notch, for example, the colors that I'm wearing today are my color palette.
I love that.
To make
They're
it
so
a little
pretty.
greener or to make it a little more Christmas, I add a chartreuse green.
Okay.
I have done this before when I add red to this. It just depends on what your personality is and what looks great in your home.
Yeah.
So if you pick a color scheme and then you make the ornaments for your color scheme larger, that becomes the base of the tree. Then, and mantle, and etc. Then you can take your special ornaments or other pieces that you love and tie them back in. And one thing that you can do that I find is really great for holiday decorating is take fabric. It needs to be a fabric that has a little movement, so thin. You can buy fabric of this nature at Walmart even. So get a shiny fabric or get a silk or get something or a faux silk, something that has a little bit of movement. And take pieces of that fabric and run them through the tree as if it's a ribbon. It takes up a ton of space. It gives you color pop. And boom, you don't have to work so hard.
These are the tips that, we should all be paying here for because that is phenomenal. And I always feel like that. I feel like I step back from my tree and I love it and I have all my ornaments on it. But it's just, in the daytime, you can kind of see some of them unless you get up real close. And then at night, you just have the lights and it just kind of overwhelms it. So to have those larger items, a little bit of the fabric to pull that color out and have this beautiful look day and night.
And it allows you, you said you have a little girl. And so, she's going to be making all these special things that you want to include in the tree. And you probably have ornaments that signify her first Christmas and all of those things. Well, I say use those pieces, but to make everything feel cohesive, have a color scheme and have bigger things so you don't have to work so hard.
I love that. That's so great. See, look at all these great little tips. We can just talk about other little tips. I have, like the banisters coming down,
Yes.
like kind of adding color in other aspects of your room into the kitchen, just so that Christmas kind of runs throughout, but not in an overwhelming way.
Sure. So a lot of people love the smell of fresh greenery. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, me too.
But I also love the ease of my faux tree.
Yeah.
I think that if you do a faux tree that has some interest to it, mine is flocked.
Okay.
Then you can actually tuck sprigs in it. You can do the same thing with your banister if you want to use faux greenery. And lately I've been finding faux greenery that looks a little different than your typical stuff on Etsy, that kind of thing. Search for it. And then you can add in a little bit of real greenery to kind of give you the smell and make the faux greenery look really fresh and vibrant. It's also a great idea to take your larger ornaments that I mentioned, and again, these don't have to be huge monetary commitments.
Right.
Just think color, think larger. Larger being like a 10-inch ball, 12-inch ball if you can find them.
Right.
And then lace those into your garlands as well. And the nice thing about a faux garland is you can use the wire that is there to secure your balls.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah, it's fun. And it also, again, if you set a color scheme and you will bounce that all around your home, then your home will look well decorated for Christmas rather than sporadic.
Yeah, just kind of everywhere.
Correct.
And not a cohesive look.
Right.
Which is exactly. Yeah, I'm excited. This year we just purchased 2 small trees to add into both my daughter's rooms because we moved into a new house, and it was just kind of thinking. So I want to make sure I was going to ask, set a color scheme to their rooms as well.
One thing I did one year that was super successful. It took a lot of thought, but this was when my children were very young. So that particular year, I set up a wire Christmas tree.
Okay.
And it was small, tabletop. And I had collected photographs throughout the year. And I framed them, and I put them on this tree, and it was called a memory tree. And it did take a lot of time, but it was so fun because it really sort of showed our year in review. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like something like that this year, you might have a little bit of time, you might be home.
Sure.
Like that. I mean, we were all home for so long,
Right.
and I think we think of 2020 as just this terrible year, let's all move on to 2021. But I know that there's a lot of things that you can be grateful for, and you just have to find those gratitudes.
Absolutely.
So, whether you were home with your kids, and maybe not every day you were grateful for that, but there was definitely some moments in there that you were grateful, and to be able to spend that time with them.
It's so true. And you could even take the same type of tree, and each year you could add to it. Maybe this year you're going to have 4 memories, and then lots of other things on the tree.
Yeah.
You could start a gratitude tree, and you could add to the gratitude tree, and that's actually something that you could keep up year round.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun to wake up and once a week put a little gratitude on your tree, whether it's framed or written on an ornament of some sort?
Yes.
Or even on some sort of scrolled paper with bows,
That would be
something of
cute.
that
Yeah.
nature.
That would just, it just sets your day, that day that you put on there, it would just set your day
100%.
a little bit differently.
One other thing that I think is worth noting, and something that I've done a lot of, and I think sometimes I take it for granted because I do
This.
and I have decorated professionally for Christmas. So something that I think is important is ribbon. And I have recently sourced, I'm really giving shout outs to Etsy today, but
That's fine.
but
That's
I
good. They have so
found
many great people on
so many great, beautiful vintage ribbons, and I insert an unusual color into my holiday decor, and it's lavender. Mainly because I've just been having an affair with lavender lately, and so
Why
no
not?
real Christmas tie-in or anything of that nature. But it's very hard to find anything lavender for Christmas.
Right.
So I did find these beautiful vintage ribbons, and they're wide, and I'm going to tuck those into my holiday decor. But the point is, if you will look for ribbons, you can run the ribbon, even if it's a short piece, it can also sit within the tree. You don't have to make bows.
Right.
You can just weave it into
yeah.
your decor, into your garlands, into whatever you're doing, and it will help make a statement in addition to fabric.
Yeah. The tips. I'm sure we could sit here and get tips all day long. This is, I mean, so great. And it's just, you know, little things you don't have to spend a ton of money on that can really make an impact in your holiday decor or just everyday decor.
Yes. And if someone's wondering what to do now that I'm telling you to go buy big, if you're wondering what to do with your smalls, here's the tip. So take bowls, place them around the house. You know, I have crystal bowls that people gave us for wedding gifts. I never use them except at holiday time because how beautiful is it to have a beautiful bowl, crystal, with just ornaments tucked inside, and if you can put it near candlelight or put it where it gets some light, then the glimmer and the shimmer is just so pretty.
That is so
and
pretty.
It's a way that you can use some of the smaller pieces that you already have.
Yeah. That's such a great tip. I've done that. I've got like the big vase kind of things that come up, which, you know, you don't always have like a big thing. So just adding that in there and just setting it up on a shelf.
And now you can buy the little bitty battery lights that you can put down in
and they're just like nothing.
Makes it so pretty.
Yes. I have been watching a lot of the QVC. Yes. And they have those ones that are just so little and you just throw them in the bottom there and it's so easy.
Yes, true.
Yeah. I love all of this.
Yes.
So any last minute little tips, either just decorating Christmas, you know.
Okay, I have one.
Okay,
I'm still stuck on Christmas.
Okay.
So
no,
here
I love
we go.
it. Christmas is, this is what we're doing
So
for.
if you have access to some branches, look, just go to the woods, cut down some branches. If you can't do that, then go to Michael's and get some like birch branches or something. So if you will spray them white, and then run the little bitty lights up in them and stick them down in a vase, and you could even take some of your balls and put it around the base of that. You could put that on a holiday table, or again, they're very large, but they look impactful.
Right.
And you could put that up even on, I have a round dining room table. I put this on my round dining room table. I have a magnolia tree, and then I get magnolia leaves and put down in it as well. But you have this magnificent holiday arrangement that you really didn't have to spend money for.
Yeah, that's awesome. We just, you made me think of it. Running out, it was like a friend of mine posted this like branch, and it was just a branch, and it had a wire and stuff like that, and it was like $85, and her husband's like, go to the woods.
Right.
I'll go to the woods and cut you down a branch. I mean, use what you have around you to decorate with that.
And you can use wire to take a branch like that and put it on top of an armoire.
Yeah.
So, and if you run the little, again, battery-powered lights are fantastic, and they'll get you through the season. And just run that, especially if you're not doing full holiday decor and you just want a little something that's twinkling. Then a branch wired up onto something is beautiful. You could do the same thing on your mantle, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so great. Well, I just want to thank you for letting us come in and take a little bit of your time this morning and sharing all these great tips with everyone. If anyone wants to use you for some design services, you want to let them know kind of how they can get a hold of you?
Of course. We have a website called KimberlyGriggDesign.com. We also have our Notting Hill Interiors website, so you can access us either way. And of course, we're active socially on Instagram and on Facebook and on Pinterest.
Yay! So they can find you in all those different locations.
Yes.
You are here in the store,
Correct.
you know, but you can come in and have an appointment
and the
with
new
you.
address is 5001 North Kings Highway. So we're in the Rainbow Harbor complex now.
So everyone knows where that is. You got the melting pot is kind of your anchor right here that
It used to be
everyone knows.
Fresh Market. Now it's the melting pot.
You got to find something to
That's
kind of
right.
anchor everyone
That's
here.
right.
So we're just gonna, thank everyone for joining us. Wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday decorating, and we will see you next time for another edition of Round Town with Revolution. Have a great day.